15 times that proved that Princess Margaret was a real rule-breaker. Gather around, ladies and gentlemen, as we prepare to delve into a world of glamour, mystery, and a hint of rebellion. Today, we set off on an exciting historical journey to learn more about one of Britain's most outstanding royals, none other than the unstoppable Princess Margaret and her exciting adventures. Be prepared for shocking findings as we reveal the 15 times that prove that Princess Margaret was a real rule-breaker. Hold on to your tiaras because you won't want to miss this royal ride. 1. Relationship with Group Captain Peter Townsend. Due to cultural standards and religious restraints, Princess Margaret's relationship with Group Captain Peter Townsend was not only notorious, but also difficult. Townsend and Princess Margaret had a close romantic relationship, even though the Church of England aggressively banned remarriage following divorce at the time. The royal family and the general public both expressed great resistance to and judgment towards the couple, since their love seemed to defy convention and traditional expectations. Princess Margaret and Group Captain Peter Townsend finally found themselves in a challenging and complicated situation as a result of the contentious nature of their relationship, which ultimately represented a changing culture with altering attitudes towards love, marriage, and divorce. 2. Marriage to Anthony Armstrong Jones. The public was shocked when Princess Margaret wed Anthony Armstrong Jones in 1960, since it was unusual for a senior royal to wed someone who was not a member of the nobility or monarchy. Princess Margaret's decision to wed a commoner was a notable break from precedent after her relationship with Group Captain Peter Townsend, who was judged unsuitable by the Church of England and the government owing to his divorce status. The creative and bohemian elite included British social photographer Anthony Armstrong Jones. When Armstrong Jones was hired to shoot Princess Margaret, their paths inevitably collided. Margaret was attracted to his ingenuity and free-spiritedness, despite their contrasting origins. After a brief courtship, their relationship soon took off, and they later declared their engagement. The announcement of the upcoming wedding created quite a commotion among the general public and the royal family. It was unusual for a princess to wed a commoner, and many people questioned Margaret's decision. The pair ultimately received approval from Queen Elizabeth II and the rest of the royal family, and on May 6, 1960, they were wed. Margaret's union with Armstrong Jones was viewed as a sign of the times and a modification in social mores. It demonstrated the monarchy's growing inclination to eschew strict customs and adopt a more contemporary look. Armstrong Jones received the eponymous title of Earl of Snowdon, making him the first commoner to wed a royal descendant in more than 400 years. 3. Scandalous bathing suit photos. Princess Margaret enjoyed a life that was not without scandal and controversy. When she was younger, scandalous images of her in bathing suits were released, which was a risky move for a member of the royal family even in the comparatively free 1950s. The pictures were taken while Margaret and her friends were on vacation in the Caribbean, where they frequently went. In one picture, she can be seen relaxing on a beach while sporting a midriff-bearing polka dot bikini that highlights her thin shape and displays her spirit of adventure. Because the public and the media were used to seeing a member of the royal family clothed in such a revealing way, the photograph sparked outrage. Margaret's decision to wear swimsuits was criticized for going against royal customs and morals. They said that her actions were inappropriate for a princess and advised that she should have kept a more traditional persona. Others, however, loved Margaret's sense of independence and uniqueness and regarded it as a welcome departure from convention. 4. Smoking habit. The princess had a renowned smoking habit despite several doctors' cautions and the Queen's displeasure. She frequently smoked while making public appearances, attending private events, or even at the royal house. She had a strong devotion to smoking, and she appeared to find comfort and relaxation in the habit. Princess Margaret's excessive smoking was perceived as being in contrast to her otherwise classy and sophisticated demeanor. She frequently appeared with a cigarette in her hands, giving off an aura of sophistication that added to her charm. However, her smoking addiction unavoidably harmed her health, as she eventually experienced respiratory issues that may have been made worse by her addiction. Despite the growing awareness of the dangers of smoking, Princess Margaret remained steadfast in her habit. It was an integral part of her identity and seemed inseparable from her persona. 5. Nightlife. Margaret was frequently spotted socializing with celebrities and socialites at upscale events and nightclubs, unlike other members of the royal family. At the time, many found this uncommon behavior for a member of the royal family to be rather scandalous. Margaret's attendance at these occasions stood in sharp contrast to the expected and customary behavior of a princess. She appeared to thrive on the thrill and vigor of the party scene, socializing with singers, actors, and painters. She was even given the nickname Party Princess by others because of her passion for partying and mingling with people. Margaret's fondness for the nightlife and rebellious actions, however, did not come without repercussions. She frequently attracted media attention for her contentious activities, and they were ready to examine everything she did closely. The British tabloids appeared to relish reporting on her escapades, portraying her as a scandalous figure who defied the expectations of her role within the royal family. 6. Public feuds. Unlike her more diplomatic sister, Margaret became well known for her public arguments and scathing statements. She was not afraid to spar verbally with other well-known figures, most notably Elizabeth Taylor. Margaret frequently sparked issues and gained notoriety because of her incisive tongue and forthright demeanor. She distinguished herself from the more reticent members of the royal family by being prepared to express her views, even at the risk of making enemies. Her public disputes became a part of her legacy and added drama to her already turbulent existence. 7. Divorce. Princess Margaret created royal family history by becoming the first senior member to divorce since King Henry VIII's reign. The 1978 divorce was a dramatic departure from the long-standing custom of maintaining marriages within the royal family. The choice made by Princess Margaret to divorce photographer Anthony Armstrong Jones signaled shifting views on divorce in British culture and shed insight into the dynamics of the monarchy. This pivotal occasion helped the people see the royal family as more relevant and human, as opposed to being constrained by antiquated traditions. 8. Refusing to bow down to tradition. The notoriously disobedient Margaret steadfastly refused to give up her royal title to wed Townsend. This audacious deed demonstrated her unrelenting disregard for customary royal protocol. Margaret showed her resistance to conforming and her willingness to live life on her terms despite the demands and expectations imposed upon her. She not only showed her strong will by refusing to submit to tradition, but she also rebelled against the constrictive customs that frequently surrounded the royal family. Margaret's reluctance to follow predetermined expectations demonstrated her independence and set a standard for subsequent monarchs. 9. Lavish lifestyle. Princess Margaret's lavish lifestyle was on display in several ways, including her lavish travels. She routinely took opulent vacations all around the world, staying in the best resorts and hotels. Margaret made no effort to cut costs when it came to her leisure time, whether it was traveling to the Caribbean's sun-kissed beaches or Switzerland's lavish ski resorts. Given her wealthy status within the royal family, many people felt that these expensive excursions were wasteful and unneeded. Princess Margaret's expensive outfit was only another feature of her lavish way of life. Margaret was renowned for her outstanding sense of style and clothing, which was frequently expensive and elegant. She was regularly spotted with luxury clothing and costly jewelry, which spurred criticism of her lavish way of living. These extravagant wardrobe choices were in stark contrast to the austerity measures put in place during Margaret's reign following the devastation of World War II. While Princess Margaret's extravagant lifestyle may have been seen as excessive by some, it is important to remember the context in which she lived. As a member of the royal family, she was born into a life of privilege where extravagance was expected. Despite the criticisms, she unapologetically embraced her lavish lifestyle, cherishing every opportunity to live life to the fullest. Ultimately, Princess Margaret's extravagant choices were a reflection of her status and provided a sense of escapism from the confines of her royal obligations. 10. Friendship with celebrities. She quickly became friends with some of the biggest stars of her day because of her bright personality and sincere interest in the entertainment industry. One of Margaret's best-known friendships was with the Rolling Stones' Mick Jagger, a legendary rock performer. Their friendship served as a representation of the strong tie that existed between the royal family and the thriving rock and roll scene of the 1960s. She was inspired by Jagger and his band's raw energy and rebelliousness, which reflected her resolve to reject social constraints. Peter Sellers, a famed actor and comedian, was another well-known celebrity buddy in Margaret's social circle. Their mutual love of the arts and their charming, funny personalities fostered the growth of their relationship. Together, they enjoyed indulging in the theatrical world, attending glamorous events, and engaging in stimulating conversations that bridged the gap between royalty and the entertainment industry. Princess Margaret's friendships with celebrities not only highlighted her ability to transcend the conventional boundaries of her royal position, but also provided her with a sense of liberation and excitement. These friendships unveiled another side of her character, showcasing her eagerness to explore and indulge in the vibrant world beyond the palace walls. 11. Meeting with American President Lyndon B. Johnson. Princess Margaret met with American President Lyndon B. Johnson in 1965, becoming the first member of the royal family to visit a U.S. president in the White House. In addition to breaking convention for the royal family, which normally does not meet with foreign leaders, the encounter was viewed as a major expression of friendship between the two nations. A small number of attendees, including First Lady Lady Bird Johnson, Ted Kennedy, Kirk Douglas, and Henry Ford, were present at the meeting, which was held in the White House's state dining room. Margaret and Johnson had a wide-ranging talk that touched on both their personal lives and the status of the globe. Margaret and Johnson reportedly got along well, and they even exchanged jokes and stories. 12. Relocation to Mystique. The Caribbean island of Mystique is where Margaret, the disobedient and free-spirited princess of the British royal family, frequently went to find comfort and an escape from the obligations of her royal responsibilities. Margaret discovered the ideal haven on the island of Mystique, where the burdens of being a princess appeared to vanish amidst the lovely beaches and turquoise waters. She often stayed an extra day or two on the island, soaking in the relaxed vibe and the rich local culture. She was able to escape the formality and demands that came with her royal title when Mystique turned into her retreat. Margaret delighted in simple pleasures that she seldom experienced daily when she was on the island. She could be found strolling along the tranquil shoreline, her feet sinking into the powdery sand, or lounging in hammocks beneath swaying palm trees. She enjoyed the spicy medley of flavors that made Caribbean food so delicious on her tongue. Margaret would frequently mix with locals and other tourists, having lively conversations and developing strong bonds that cut beyond socioeconomic rank. Mystique signified a place of independence and emancipation for Margaret. She relished the chance to escape the formality and standards that surrounded her every day. She was able to celebrate her uniqueness and revel in the pleasures of a simpler life in Mystique. She was free to be herself there, unrestricted by the weight of her royal duties. Margaret's decision to go to Mystique demonstrated her independence-loving nature and desire to live life on her terms. 13. Sharp wit and retorts. Princess Margaret was renowned for having a razor-sharp sense of humor and was usually prepared with a clever retort. One instance in which she openly retaliated against American Ambassador John Hay Whitney epitomized her tenacious personality. The brash princess boldly declared, "I am a senior royal, and I'm not going to be dictated to by an American." She refused to be ruled by anyone from the outside. Her reaction demonstrated her persistent pride and resolve, dispelling any uncertainty about her value and self-assurance. Princess Margaret's razor-sharp wit and lightning-fast retorts were evidence of her independent spirit and refusal to submit. 14. Refusing to follow the Queen's style. Margaret, Queen Elizabeth II's younger sister, was widely renowned for her rebellious spirit and fierce independence, and this was reflected in her choices of clothing as well. Margaret chose a bolder and more avant-garde approach, whereas the Queen adopted a more conventional and conservative look. Margaret didn't hesitate to try out bold patterns, vivid colors, and statement items. She frequently favored high fashion and expensive textiles, making a statement everywhere she went. The shifting times and new fashions of the 1960s and 1970s, which were characterized by a sense of independence and individualism, had an impact on her sense of style. Margaret was not just interested in apparel, she also adored accessories. She was often seen wearing extravagant hats, eye-catching jewelry, and unique handbags that added a touch of glamour and sophistication to her ensembles. Margaret's love for fashion extended beyond just her personal choices. She also celebrated and supported British designers, establishing herself as a trendsetter and a true patron of the arts. 15. The Princess Margaret Wave. A daring and disobedient deed that had a big impact, the Princess Margaret Wave was more than simply a simple hand motion. Princess Margaret decided to follow her path in a society where the British royal family was expected to make polite gestures and offer formal handshakes. She created a distinctive wave that was dubbed the Margaret. For some, this small act might seem inconsequential, yet it represented much more. The customary royal wave conveyed formality and restraint with its sweeping back-and-forth motion. But Princess Margaret defied these expectations and showed her independence and uniqueness with her round wave. The Margaret wave came to represent her individuality and sense of style, making her stand out among other royals. She demonstrated her readiness to question the established conventions and traditions of the monarchy with her straightforward yet rebellious conduct. It was a modest gesture of defiance that struck a chord with many individuals who yearned for a dash of spontaneity and authenticity within the walls of the royal family. Princess Margaret was also able to engage with people on a more intimate level thanks to her distinctive wave. It gave her a more approachable character that made her look more personable and real. She was viewed as someone who was not afraid to deviate from social conventions and be authentic. Now this video comes to an end. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel.